Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Kristin Dozier, and I've had the honor to serve on the Leon County Commission. I'm here today to announce, as you probably already know, I'm running for mayor of Tallahassee. I'm excited to have the opportunity to run and serve you and our neighbors, and I look forward to working together to make the city we love even better. As your mayor, I will work with you, not against you, to ensure we have equal representation for everyone in Tallahassee. I will work to end the divisiveness that has held us back and damaged the people's trust in our city government. This is about all of us, from every part of our community. Great things are happening in Tallahassee. We're making progress and working together, but sometimes it feels like we're taking one step forward and two steps back. 1 week ago, I sat in City Hall and listened to speakers implore the mayor to keep our $27 million for economic development. But instead, he made the decision to invest in a stadium. You work hard, and you should be able to count on your local government to work for you, even if you're not the loudest voice in the room. We need a mayor who looks for solutions that work for all of us. As mayor, I'll lead the effort to ensure we spend our economic development dollars to serve the whole community, as I have for more than a decade. Together, we'll work to attract good-paying jobs you can depend on to help your family, and workers who will help your business grow. And if we do that, we will improve our quality of life. Our community should be able to trust our local government to make the right decisions that are in the best interest of everyone, and not a select few. You deserve a transparent, responsive local government that works for everyone. As mayor, I will work with the people from every corner of our city, listen to your perspectives, and together we can solve the challenges we face today. We live in a great city. I'm proud to tell people Tallahassee is my home. I'm grateful to those who've supported me on the county commission, and this is the next step in our journey. And to those of you I haven't met, I look forward to hearing what's on your mind. This is a remarkable time in our history. The struggles we face give us an opportunity to continue to work together, to build a vision we have for the place we call home. I hope you will join us as we work together to make the city we love even better, but we can't do it alone. This campaign is going to take all of us working together. I hope you'll join us and help us get our message out by liking and sharing this video so our message can reach as many people as possible. You all know where I am on the issues. You know my values. And still, I think it's important to hear where you're at. So we're going to take some questions in the chat and see how many we can get to. Please bear with us. This is new for us. Facebook Live is very new for me. Thank you for joining us today. Now we're going to look at some questions. All right. The first question that's coming up: what would you say to people concerned about development in neighborhoods? So I guess this question could cut a few different directions. Concerned about increased development near our neighborhoods. I hear that a lot from both folks who live in the unincorporated area, but particularly from folks who live in the city. This is a tough balance. We need to focus on urban infill for sure. The more people we have spreading out into the county puts more demand on our resources and our environment. But we need to balance that with the quality of life that we love and our existing neighborhoods. It's a challenge. If we work together, I think we can solve that. All right, where should blueprint money have gone? I think I take that to mean the economic development money. So this is about the vote last week. We've set aside 12% of our funds for economic development. And that is intended to go towards job creation, supporting our local businesses, entrepreneurs, workforce training. In the first 2 years of this tax, we invested a lot in exactly those types of programs. We've given loans to minority and women small businesses, helped a new incubator innovation park, and attracted Danfoss expansion and Amazon. We got a good return on the investment of those funds in the first 2 years. And if we had kept our $27 million, I and many of us, overwhelming majority, believe we could have done a lot more and grown our economy in the coming years. Unfortunately, the decision was made to give that money away, but we've got a great team at OEV, and I think we are going to do some good things in the next few years, but it's going to be more difficult. All right, just waiting on another question to come up. As I said, this is new for us. I have to appreciate my fiance, John Webb, who's here helping with all the tech. He has been wonderful and couldn't do this without good family support from John and everyone else. So thank you for that. All right, one more question. What can we do to make a more walkable community? Well, first thing is connectivity. We've got to connect our bike paths and our trails so that people can navigate throughout our community and safely and enjoyably. It gets pretty hot. We all know that. We also have to balance that with existing neighborhoods and traffic, of course. We've seen some tough conversations just recently about Thomasville Road. I do believe that multi-use trail will be able to help vehicles, pedestrians, and bicyclists, but we've got to make sure we are paying attention to everyone. As mayor, I will do the same thing that I've done as county commissioner and push for public participation and transparency so we have an efficient process. We don't want to slow down growth, but when we start in a contentious way, we end up doing that. So we need to start in the right way and work together to get the best projects that help all of us. Okay. Why did you oppose Doak? Oh, if anyone's following my Facebook feed, there was a lot of reasons to oppose Doak. I had the days of Doak, as you've seen in the paper and other places. I oppose this for several reasons. First and foremost, it is an anti-growth decision. As I said a moment ago, we could have spread this out to a lot of different projects, a lot of different investments, and it created a lot more good paying jobs that will help you and your families, and invest in training programs that will help provide more workers to fill the gaps in our businesses and help your businesses grow. I don't think it was the appropriate use of these limited tax dollars, our precious tax dollars that we set aside for economic development. And I think we started because people got really attached to how much we love FSU and we love football. We all do. But we didn't have all the facts until late December and February. And that lack of transparency really hurt us. So again, there's a lot of reasons, but Doak was an anti-growth decision. And I'm proud to stand with the majority in our community against that. Okay, a couple more. What is one particular thing that the current mayor is doing that you do not like and you want to correct on your first day in office? Maybe like a lot of you, I had a lot of hope for Mayor Daley when he was elected. We served together on the county commission for many years. I entered this race not because of a personal issue, but because of a difference in perspective on the policies, a vision for our community, and importantly, a different approach to doing this job. So what would I change on day one? We need a mayor who lifts up our community, that ends the divisiveness, that promotes transparency. We don't need more conflicts. That just holds us back. We need to work together. For sure, we can never get unanimous approval for hardly anything. But we can be more efficient and keep our community moving forward more quickly and end the divisiveness at City Hall. And that's what I would be focused on as day one when I'm elected mayor. All right, one more. What impacts do you hope to have that you might not have had a chance to focus on while in the county? So we're unique. We've got one city and one county. A lot of places around the state, they've got a lot of different cities. We should be able to work together more efficiently. And I think we need to get creative and look at some of those issues. I've had a lot of ideas over the years, and so have a lot of other people. But the city is unique. They cover a lot of issues that the county doesn't cover. So some of the ones that I would want to focus on day one is improving the airport and attracting businesses. We really need to make the airport more business friendly, which has a added benefit of growing, the airport resources and hopefully getting more flights. That would help everybody. We need to focus on a number of different things, including promoting urban infill. I said we've been doing a good job, but we need to do a little bit more. And there are a number of other issues that we can talk about throughout this campaign, and I'm sure going to come up in more questions. I paused there because we've got a lot more questions coming in, so I want to make sure to get to as many as we can. And please keep them coming. If we don't get to them today, I'll look at Facebook and keep answering questions. And we've got a few months to go on the campaign, so I know we'll be talking a lot. How can the CRA's direction be refocused to transform the neighborhoods for whom it was meant? So until a few years ago, the county served on the CRA, and I was a proud member of the CRA. But I have to say, the challenges I hear today from folks in Frenchtown, Providence, other neighborhoods are the same issues we heard about when I was on the CRA board years ago. And that is really kind of disturbing. I'm not sure why we haven't been able to come up with a strategic planning process that really implements the good ideas that we've got. We've been through one round after another of community discussions. It's time to get to work, get the job done, and improve areas in our CRA that have been in need for a long time. The folks in those areas are ready. I'm ready to work for you as your next mayor of Tallahassee. Okay, one more. How can we make Tallahassee the #1 city in the nation for women, and why is that important? All right, I got to give a shout out to Barbara Westcott. I'm guessing this is your mission, and I appreciate your efforts at Women's Wednesday and your work with DOMI. We had a great discussion yesterday with a panel of women's entrepreneurs about the new emerging hemp industry. So how can we make Tallahassee the #1 city for women and women entrepreneurs and business owners? We keep doing what you've been doing. We lift up the voices, we work together, and we support each other. And there is so much more we can do to draw out and really recognize the incredible women leaders we have in our company, or in our community, that have been running businesses for a long time, and those women who are starting new businesses. I look forward to working together, continuing to. All right, from Dr. C, would you consider a new committee that creates innovative ways to solve our continuing issues? Well, that's interesting, Dr. C. I think we're going to have to talk a little bit more about what your thoughts are on creating innovative ways to solve continuing issues, but I like where you're going. We need to have room for creativity. We need to have room to bring new voices into the process. Now, we got to take a pause at some point. We can't just talk forever like we have at the CRA. At some point, we got to implement those ideas and really help improve and address those issues that I think you're talking about. So let's talk more. And I think we can find some ways to get innovative in the future. All right, Mr. Hollinger. How would you balance historic preservation with growing our city? Well, you and others have done a fantastic job of lifting up our history, our entire history, all parts of our community in recent years. I think we've made some great progress with blueprints, with the historic markers in Cascades, FAMU Way, Frenchtown, other places. We need to keep that process moving forward. And here's one way. This is kind of looking back at ways the city and county can work together. I have pushed for a position shared by the city and county that would focus on our cultural and archaeological resources. A lot of other communities do this. We could hire that person. They can work with developers and builders to ensure they're not disturbing any cultural sites, but also they could be a resource. We have found historic African-American cemeteries recently that have been lifted up. People will be able to visit these places. We can honor them and recognize our full history, a position like this could really help us do more. And yet we can't do it on the county side alone. We need the city to walk with us. And thus far, that has not happened. They are not interested at this point in hiring that position. I think that's something we need to focus on. And as your mayor, I would absolutely be supportive of that on the city side, so we can do even more of what the great work you've been doing for the last few years. Thank you. Will you help us get a new city manager? This question comes up a lot. I want to say first that our city manager, Reese Code, has done a tremendous amount of great work for the city over the years. He's served in a lot of different positions, and I appreciate that. There are a lot of great folks at the city. However, when our longtime city manager, Anita Favors Thompson, left, we did not go to a public search for a new manager. I think that was a mistake. I have fought for public search for positions on the county and city side and in our joint agencies. That's the appropriate way to look for new positions, particularly when they are in executive level and have such an incredible impact on our city government and others. So I do think that to address a lot of the long-standing challenges we've seen at the city, we are going to need to look hard at how we have organized things, at the process. I know that's the word people don't love me to say, but you got to have a good process to get to a good result. And that may include looking at the city manager position. All right, Mike Goldstein. Thoughts on the mayor's message to your announcement? Okay, so this comes out just before the announcement, social media blows up. I have not taken the time to read the entire thing. I've seen a little bit of it, and all I can say right now is this is why I'm running. This is what we're dealing with. It's negative, and I'm going to focus on a positive campaign, what my vision is for Tallahassee, and how I will serve you, all of you, as your next mayor. All right, from Chris Ellington. Good to hear from you, neighbor. Despite the limits to local control imposed by the state, yes, lots of preemption, we need to put sustainable energy and environmental responsibility as a high priority. What opportunities do you see for the city to do more to address the climate crisis? Good question, Chris. So we have a great city utilities company, and yes, they've invested in solar, and that is a good thing. However, from my experience, and this goes back before I was on the commission, when I was working in construction, and I left that job when I was hired, but it still influences me. Small scale solar, we have to do more to make it easier for people to afford that and to connect it to the grid and make that really efficient, work it for the city and for individuals. I would hope we would look at some of our larger buildings, schools, grocery stores, others. This has been in the conversation for a long time. But really, Chris, what I can say right now is we have wanted to have a collaborative relationship with community partners like Sustainable Tallahassee and others, city and county, for a long time to focus holistically on climate and environmental issues. And repeatedly, the city has been concerned about really leaning into that open dialogue. I'm not sure why that is, but I think we should really face these issues head on. At our recent county commission retreat, I added in climate migration into our discussion. We are already seeing people move to Tallahassee because we're the high ground from South Florida. We need to be prepared for that. So we got to look at the environmental issues, but also how climate change will affect other areas and what the impact will be on us. Okay, from Claudia. I see that some of what gets called divisiveness is actually some of our commissioners speaking up to try to make a positive difference. Will you add your voice to the efforts to reform the problems that would resolve the divisiveness? I think, Claudia, you got a good point. It's local government. We live in the sunshine. we're not going to all agree on every decision that's made or every issue that comes up. So yeah, it could look divisive. It could look contentious just when we're trying to put different ideas on the table. And I know I drive some people crazy because I got a lot of ideas, but that's our job as your elected officials, to read the material, to look for new ideas, and to listen to our community, our whole community, and lift up your voices, whether you're at the podium or in the meeting, or if we've just met with you in your neighborhood. So yeah, I think there is a difference between that kind of debate and dialogue, which can be respectful, and the divisiveness that we've seen in the last few years that doesn't move us forward. It holds us back. And as your mayor, I will not feed into that. I want us to stay focused on moving our community forward. From Will, please speak to housing insecurity issues. How will you help renters? Good question, Will. We had a great joint workshop with the city and county last week on affordable housing. A lot of good information. And we're going to be taking some steps in the next year to resolve some long-term policy challenges and others that I think are going to help us build more affordable housing, and particularly focus on rentals. That was something that really came out of that discussion. It's not just affordable home ownership, it's affordable rentals. We have made a lot of progress in the last few years for the first time to collaborate with partners like the Tallahassee Lenders Consortium, Habitat for Humanity, and others. And I want to applaud the city for taking some good steps in recent years to put in some new policy to help landlords and help builders. I think we need to look to other communities. We don't have all the answers. Everyone is facing the housing crisis, and we need to find some innovative ideas, going back to Dr. C's question, and really push ourselves to make strategic choices as quickly as possible so we can address that issue. All right. So anybody else have any questions right now? We could hang on for a few minutes. And while I'm giving you a moment, this is very odd. I'm looking at a camera. I can't see all of you right now. If we've interacted before, you know how much I love to get out in the community and talk with everyone. And I'm so glad after the last 2 years that we are seeing each other in person again. This is going to be a good campaign, and I look forward to meeting you in your neighborhoods, at events, coming and visiting and hearing what you think about our community. So if you don't get your question today, send it to me, email me, call me, invite me to the neighborhood, or I'll just find you and we'll keep the conversation going. All right, so at the end here, since I'm not seeing another question come up, this is a huge day. I am phenomenally excited to get into this race. We're going to have a good campaign. We're going to be focused on the issues you care about. I'm going to be listening to all of you and learning from you because I know that together we can solve the problems that we have, the challenges we face, and really activate the opportunities that we have to move us forward. This campaign is about all of us, and it's going to take all of us. So if you share this vision and know that we need a different direction for the city of Tallahassee, I hope you will stand with us and, again, share the video on social media. I hope it looks great. I'll see it later. And so other people can learn a little bit more about my perspective and some of the great questions you've asked. Like us on social media. And of course, come out to the candidate forums, come out to the events, share your perspective. This is one of many races happening in this campaign cycle, and all of them are important. And I look forward to a great campaign and to working with you and to being your next mayor. All right. So did we have another question there? Okay. All right. We don't have any more questions. So I just want to say this was fun. This has been quite a day, quite a process, and a busy few days. I was focused on DOC. I was focused on county issues and others. up until last Thursday. And I'm committed. I have a full-time job and I will be on the county commission and working for you until November. But I'm also going to be working with you as we have a great campaign and we work to win this race. And I look forward to being the next mayor of Tallahassee and to our shared vision and doing what's best for the city we love. Thank you so much for joining us today.